Kalala Yahweh, Bo Shema Mashak Yahusha, Shema Yasharahla Yahweh Alahayana Kadabamashpaka, Shalom. May peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied unto you all. Okay, I did not want to have to do this lesson. I did not want to have to do this lesson. All right. So she may look familiar because I did a lesson about this woman several months ago and the folly that she is committing. And the Most High presented this video to me the other day. And through the Spirit, I was led to do another video in correction of the deception that this woman is putting out. I was wearied to want to do this lesson. Yes, I was wearied. I was actually trying to run away from doing this lesson. So the first moment it was shown to me, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Then the urge from the Spirit pressed upon me once again to do this lesson. And as any wise man of Yahweh would do, they will obey. So I wanted to put that out there, that I was wearied to do this lesson. I did not want to do this lesson, but I have no other choice. Now, I'm going to let this woman speak. I'm going to add my commentary, and then we're going to go to the scriptures for the correction of this matter. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
So the other day I rolled up and I smoked. Now, I'm not saying you need to be smoking or you need to be doing none of that, but I'm just telling you, the other day I rolled up, I smoked.
So this woman is a self-proclaimed prophetess, all right? And while she's in her folly, she decides to doll up while she's smoking the blunt and begins to prophesy while she's smoking the blunt. Now imagine any man of Yahweh who's a messenger of the word doing the same thing. How much backlash he will receive. Yet this woman, if I'm not mistaken, is not receiving too much backlash. Now we know that smoking is not of the Spirit. It's a defiling of the temple. Nonetheless, smoking weed, yes, the act of smoking it is indeed a source of witchcraft. Any form of smoking is a source of witchcraft because the Most High didn't design such herbal properties to be burned and smoked. Nonetheless, she dolls up. She dolls up. She dolls up while she's smoking and begins to prophesy. So much folly from the very beginning. Yet this woman has many people following her and receiving some type of instruction from her.
Okay, so I'm relaxed, I'm chilling. Then, all of a sudden, something that I had been delivered from, it came knocking at my front door. Okay, so I found myself wanting to engage and partake in self-pleasure.
Okay. So I really believe that the Most High put the spirit on this woman to do this video to show how much of a hypocrite she is in getting on this social media platform in front of a camera and calling herself being a prophetess. Okay? She needs a head. All right? She needs a head. She needs a man of Yahweh in her life. Okay? And she's resistant of that because she wants to lead. She wants to be in control. So she's in resistance of that. That's why she's constantly getting on here trying to lead thousands upon thousands of people on social media in the word of Yahweh. All right? Now, with me understanding that, that's why I got wearied of it. I'm like, dang, I already understand the folly of this to a T. But yet, there may be many other people who don't understand it, so I have to cover it. I got assigned to cover it, and I couldn't resist it. If I continued to resist, the Most High would have got on my ass. It's already happened before. So I had to push through and do this video. And even as we speak right now, it still wearies me to have to cover this. Nonetheless, I'm going to let it continue.
All right, God has delivered me from the state of perversion and the state of, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff. We'll get into that later. Now,
she says the Most High delivered her from the state of perversion. Okay? She says that, but she's hitting the weed in front of the camera while she's dolled up and showing a great portion of skin from the chest up, right? From the chest up, just to play with your imagination. Men out there, play with your imagination, because nonetheless, while this woman recording, she still has a sense of seduction on her mind, right? She wants to be conquered. It ain't hard to tell, all right? It ain't hard to tell. Some of you younger brothers out there that may not be, that may not have that much experience with women, you probably can't see that. But any brother who's been seasoned can look at this and tell, because none of this was done by accident. Her getting dolled up, her smoking in front of the camera and talking about how she had a desire to pleasure herself. None of this is by accident.
an immature brain would think that because I hit the blunt, now that's why I want to do that. But the truth of the matter is, before I ever even started hitting the blunt, this is how y'all got to do root work. Before I started hitting the blunt,
She said a key word there that really exposed her. She said root work. Root work. Now, if you know anything about that term is used heavily among witches and warlocks. So the Most High put a spirit of exposure on this woman throughout this whole video. But those who lack the understanding don't know how much folly they're being led to, being led spiritually by a woman. Let it continue.
before I started smoking weed, I was already bound up by that spirit, masturbation, pornography.
Okay, so just by what she's talking about, just by her presentation, and just by her abusing this substance while she calls herself prophesying, lets you know what type of folly she's in, and that she's not qualified to be leading anybody spiritually. Here she talking about corn and self-pleasure. The folly here, man, it wearies me. I'm wearied to do this video. I'm wearied of it because the folly is just so overwhelming. And anybody, even if you listening to me and you call yourself running outward and listening to some other person who happens to be a female and they preaching and teaching and giving all this type of edification, you're in folly. A woman cannot lead you like that because her emotions rule over her. That's why she's doing this folly right now. Emotions. Emotions.
Saying I should be smoking, okay? I'm open to God pruning whatever you want to prune away from me. Okay, I am. I ain't perfect, man. I ain't trying to get on here and make y'all think I'm all holier than now and I'm just this really good Christian girl, man. I'm struggling just like the next person. Not with smoking, but with trying to get this walk right with God. Now, this message ain't to enable nothing.
You're not going to get to walk right with God until you fall under the leadership of a man of Yahweh. That's point blank simple. There's nothing else to that. Unless you have some type of man of Yahweh leading you spiritually, you're not going to be able to get right.
Not like that. I'm just letting you know. Root work is knowing I was already.
There, that key word goes again, root work. Root work. That's a sorcery term. And we're going to get into the definition on that. Just hold tight. We're going to get on the definition of that, but you got to listen. You got to really pay attention to what's going on here.
Struggling with masturbation before I started smoking, so it's not that I need to stop smoking.
So this entire time she calls herself prophesying and how she's trying to get right and that she's not perfect. The foundation of this whole display is based off of smoking weed and sexual impulses. The entire time she decided to cut on this video, she's hot and ready. All right? She's hot and ready while she calls herself prophesying. This woman wants to get conquered. And who's to say she's not already passing the gates around? Right? Who's to say she's not already doing that? Who's to say she's not already doing that and she just uses a code word of self-pleasure for that act? Because she's definitely trying to attract somebody here. It ain't hard to tell. Whatever man she has in her DMs, or whatever man that are in her DMs or following her within her proximity, this was a signal. This was a signal to them, letting them know what's up and letting them know that she's hot and ready. It ain't hard to tell, Mashpaka. Let it continue.
I'm not saying I don't need to stop smoking. Smoking is just not good for your body, point blank period, no matter what you smoke. No smoke is greater than the next. No sin is greater than the next. It's all bad for you. All right, boom, that's me just putting it wide open, just putting it right out there for y'all to know. Okay. But masturbation was already in me before I ever started partaking in this. So the thing is not that you need to cut out what you think is making you come back.
Again. Again, she's letting whatever males in her proximity know that she's hot and ready. That's why she decided to cut this camera on and record herself, calling herself prophesying, but having that as the foundation of the conversation. Weed and sexual pleasure. We already know those go hand in hand. If you spend any time in the world, you already know that that herb is used as an aphrodisiac. Let it continue.
To the thought of that, you need to understand that when you get into a relationship with Christ, everything that you've been delivered from, everything that had a hold on you, is going to eventually at some point resurface. All right. When it resurfaces, this is when you need to resist whatever the itch is. The resurfacing is just God's way of letting you know, listen, I done brought you.
This whole display is hypocritical. Oh my gosh, I am so wearied. I'm so wearied having to watch this myself, y'all. But we're going to get to the scriptures. I'm going to let it continue to talk. We're going to get to the scriptures and cut this mess to shreds.
Through this, and this is how quickly and this is how easy you can turn back to this. That itch is not because you haven't been delivered. That's the reminder that Christ delivered you. You can choose right now to resist the temptation or buy into it. I could have did my thing the other night, but that ain't me no more. So the enemy gonna have to hit me with something else, and I hope he gonna have to hit you with something else too.
Okay, now let's get to the scriptures to cut this up, right? We're going to start off with, nonetheless, Ezekiel 13, verse 17. Likewise, thou son of man, set thy face against the daughters of thy people, which prophesy out of their own heart, and prophesy thou against them. All right? So we're starting off this rebuke with that, just to set the record straight. Now, we're going to continue here in Job chapter 39, verses 13 through 18. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich? Now, this is more so a introductory allegory or figure of speech from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, stating that he's speaking of the woman. Okay? He's speaking of the beauty and the grace of woman. Okay? He's letting you know he's speaking of a woman. The goodly wings unto the peacocks, that's the beauty, or the wings and feathers on the ostrich, that's the grace. He's talking about the feminine counterpart of man. Okay? So let's get that understood. That's what all that refers to. He's talking about the feminine counterpart of man, which is woman. Verse 14, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or the wild beast may break them. She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. So all of this is an expression of how the woman is prone to going off, as we saw the young lady go off in the video. Verse 17, because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. What time she lifteth up herself on high, she scorneth the horse and his rider. So I would tell you this, anytime you see a woman prophesying, calling herself having an office of a prophetess, of preaching or teaching the word, or bringing some type of edification related to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh. It's an act of pride. She is lifting herself on high, and she's telling everybody, hey, I can do what a man can do. Oh, the Most High only wants the man to preach and teach. Well, I can do that too. Forget all that. That is her lifting herself up on high. Now, with that being said, right? With that being said, I typed this in on the search engine for AI, talking about root work, right? And this is the definition of it. This is the breakdown of root work. It says root work refers to a spiritual practice that involves using natural elements like roots and herbs to create remedies or charms aimed at influencing personal circumstances or addressing specific needs. It is deeply connected to African American culture and incorporates elements from various spiritual traditions, focusing on the inherent powers of plants for healing and personal empowerment. Witchcraft. Definition of root work. Root work, often associated with hoodoo, is a spiritual practice that involves using natural elements like roots, herbs, and other botanical materials. It aims to create remedies or charms to influence personal circumstances or address specific needs. Again, it is a form of sorcery. Okay, is it a form of sorcery? The only use that herbs have is for medicinal properties, to heal and nourish. If you're using anything outside of that, it's witchcraft. The fact that she was smoking weed while she caught herself doing some type of video of edification was witchcraft and sorcery right in front of you. Okay? Historical context. Root work has its origins in African American culture, blending traditional West African spiritual systems with Native American and European influences. It emerged during the transatlantic slave trade, where enslaved Africans adapted their spiritual practices to their environment. Yeah, they were going to other gods. They were seeking after devils. That's what that was. All right. Anytime you hear anybody from the diaspora talking about the ancestors, oh, the ancestors this, or pray to the ancestors, they're working witchcraft. Hoodoo, voodoo. That's what they're working. Beliefs and practices. Practitioners known as root workers or root doctors believe in the inherent powers of plants and their ability to affect change. Root work can be used for various purposes, including love spells, attracting affection, or strengthening relationships. I think that's what she was doing, right? She was trying to invoke a love spell, okay? Like I explained in the video. Any man who sees and knew those signs she was giving off, all right? But not ignorant to it. Protection charms, guarding against negativity or harm. Healing mixtures, addressing physical or emotional ailments. Cultural significance. Now we're getting deeper. It goes deeper down the rabbit hole. Root work is not just about magic. It is deeply connected to community ties and ancestral wisdom. It serves as a means of empowerment and social control within communities, reflecting the complexities of societal attitudes towards witchcraft and healing practices. Keyword, witchcraft. In contemporary times, there is a growing interest in herbalism and holistic health, making root work relevant as individuals seek natural remedies and connections to their heritage. It's all witchcraft and sorcery, all right? So the entire time, that woman decided to press record and try to get some type of edification and testimony, she was working witchcraft. More, more specifically, she was working a love spell. I told you she dolled herself up, had a whole lot of skin showing from the chest up, with just her breasts covered to invoke your imagination, while she's smoking the ganja and talking about pleasure and corn. It's all the subtleties. You just gotta pay attention to the subtleties. Now let's get back to the scriptures, right? Now that we expose that. So we know it's pride working. Anytime we see these women in this folly of calling themselves speaking on the Most High's business, trying to teach and edify others. Jeremiah 17:9-10. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Now we know that the nature of the woman, she is prone to her feelings, which is tied to the heart, the mind. All right. She's prone to those. So she's bound to go off some way, form, shape, or fashion. It's inevitable. That's why women need a head. They need a guide. They need the logical presence and guidance of a man. And she definitely needs that, but she's rebellious. She's stiff-necked. She thinks she can do it. She thinks she's in the same position as a man. Verse 10, I know I, Yahweh, search the heart. Salakia. I, Yahweh, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So, like I told y'all, the whole time she decided to press record, the Most High was exposing her. All right? For anybody who's been exposed to the appropriate wisdom as to why they shouldn't be following a woman, being led and guided by a woman, especially pertaining to the Most High's business, he showed it all then and there. Now, furthermore, this proves why she's not qualified to be doing what she's doing, and she needs a head in her life. Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 1, verses 29-30. Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest. She didn't do none of that. The Most High put a spirit on her to expose that folly. Like, the whole time she thought she was helping, she was speaking folly and foolishness and practicing foolishness. Verse 30, exalt not thyself, lest thy fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so the Most High discover thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou camest not in truth to the fear of Yahweh, but thy heart is full of deceit. Is that not what we witnessed in that video? A heart full of deceit, a heart full of pride, and secrets being discovered. You got to pay attention to the subtleties. You got to pay attention to the subtleties. You got to pay attention to the subtleties. Sirach, chapter 5, verse 2. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. That's exactly what that woman did. She walked all in the ways of the desires of her heart, which was full of lasciviousness. She was full of lasciviousness. It was oozing through her. And it wasn't hard to tell. Jump into Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5-7. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. If this woman trusted Yahweh with all her heart, she would not be doing what she was doing. She would not be on the internet showing her face, advertising herself, opening herself up to all types of scrutiny, thinking that she's some type of leader of Yahweh's business. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. The Most High is not directing any woman to do what a lot of these women are doing. The Most High is not leading no woman, hey, go preach and teach my business. He's not telling no woman that. That's a devil. Verse 7, be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh and depart from evil. That's not what she was doing. She was being wise in her own eyes, and she was following after wickedness. How we know all that? Well, let's take it back to the law. Numbers chapter 27, verses 16 through 17. Let Yahweh, the Allahayim of all spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. A man, a man, a man, a man over the congregation. He never said a woman can lead the congregation. And why is that? Verse 17, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of Yahweh be not as a sheep which have no shepherd. Well, everybody who's following after such women, being led by such women, you're as sheep without a shepherd. You're vulnerable to all type of folly and spiritual wickedness. You're vulnerable. Sheep with no shepherd, they're just sitting ducks. They're prey. They're an open opportunity for all type of predators to prey on them. And that's exactly what type of situation you're in if you're being led and directed by these women who call themselves prophetess. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 3 and 11. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Mashiach is the Most High. Verse 11, nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in Yahweh. So she resists that fact that a man is supposed to be her head. She thinks that Mashiach is her head. She probably romanticizes Mashiach. Well, she did in that case because she mentioned Mashiach while she was advertising herself with sexual desires, while abusing an herbal creation, utilizing root work, practicing witchcraft in front of us, in front of everybody who saw her. Malachi chapter 2, verse 17. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words, yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? So I honestly believe that weariness that I felt was what the Most High wanted me to feel regarding this scenario. Because I really did not want to do this video. It took a whole lot of spiritual strength for me to muster up to do this video. Continue on with Malachi chapter 2, verse 17. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words, yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, everyone that doeth evil is good in the sight of Yahweh, and he delighteth in them, or where is the God of judgment? So everybody who's getting edified by such a woman and her display, you're saying that her wickedness is good, which wearies the Most High. And I can personally feel that fatigue from such a display. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. That's what everybody's doing who tolerates a woman doing what she's doing with Yahweh's business, with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's business. Nonetheless, there are some women who do this and make good points, but still, nonetheless, it's wrong. It's backwardness and it's foolishness. It's foolishness. It's rebellion and it's foolishness. Stop it. May peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied unto you all. Shalom.